Welcome to the Let's Talk Clarity, the podcast where we have open and honest and empowering conversations about mental health and well-being. I'm Zeenat, the Clarity Coach, and today we have a truly special episode and a very, very special friend who will be talking about stress management in youth. And we're going to be diving deep into that in terms of the impact on the youth's mental and emotional well-being. So today we have Imran, and he will be discussing 5 aspects: identifying the root causes, healthy practices and self-care habits, who are the persons to go to when we need support, and looking at gratitude and focus, and also the digital detox. All of these topics I am extremely passionate about. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Imran right now. Hello, Imran.
Hi, Zeenat. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's my pleasure to have you to have me in your show. I'm very excited. Thank you very much.
Well, it's really wonderful to have you too. Now, I'm going to do a quick intro about who you are, but I'm going to leave most of it up to you. So, Imran Fiaz is a transformational coach and an IT professional who has worked in different countries, and he is also a certified NLP coach. He is passionate about youth development and empowerment, parenting skills, as well as family relationship mentoring and career coaching. And of course, now he's living in and working in Saudi Arabia. Wow, that's a mouthful. You do a lot. And you know what? He is a brilliant transformation coach, but also a gentleman that I know who has lots of wisdom and insight. He has also, as I said earlier, become a really good friend of mine, who I met back at the beginning of this year on a recent trip to Dubai. So, Imran, without further ado, you're going to enlighten us with some great inspirations. We're going to have a great discussion, aren't we?
Thank you very much, Zeenat, for your kind introduction. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Like you said, I'm a certified NLP coach. My focus and my passion is to life transformation among people, professionals, in their personal life as well as their career as well. Out of all these topics, the few topics which I'm passionate about, the areas which I'm passionate about, definitely the family relationship, particularly in among spouse, partners, and siblings, your family relationship. Parenting is one of my another passion area where I do help parents how to raise and build a close bonding with their children. And today's topic definitely is one of my another passion is how to empower youth. And today's topic is definitely the stress management among youth. I mean, how they are coping up this and what are all the challenges they're facing and how they can come out from this. And the most another one of my another area is the career coaching, which definitely youth how they can develop their career, professionals, graduates, and seniors as well, how they can refine them with their personal branding and leadership. So these are some areas. These
Yeah.
are some areas which is my passion. But by earning, I'm an IT professional. I have worked in different countries, Saudi, UAE, Malaysia, Indonesia, in different positions. So we are not talking about that area today. So let's focus on what I am here today talking about the stress management among youth. Let's see.
And that's absolutely brilliant. And yes, like I said, you've got a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, not just in one area, but so many aspects. But there's always that link between things. Now, one of the things I'd asked you a question about who or whom was your greatest inspiration, and your answer was, which I absolutely loved, was myself through self-learning and improvement. I don't hear that much in terms of people reflecting on themselves as their own inspiration. And that is really powerful. Can you just give us a quick insight before we dive into today's topic as to, because it is really important as to why you are your inspiration?
That's interesting. Um, Actually, throughout my life, regardless my personal life or my professional life, I have observed one thing in me, that I always try to learn from others. Whenever I see somebody is doing good, or they are having some good skills, talent, some good things from them, regardless of this guy is an office boy or an MD or director or manager, my family members, friends, whoever. Even
Mm,
if I see somebody on the street whom I have never met before, is unknown person to me. So I always try to learn. So everybody's mentor for me. That is one thing which I observed in my later years of my life, that I'm observing. So then after that, then I thought of that observation is not only the only the reason that I should improve in me also. What they are doing is that, so I started learning from them when I see them, and over a period of time, if I need to improve in myself, so I go for that. If I need to do some study or some mentorship, if I need to take from someone,
mm.
even for example, today I'm in your podcast, so you never know, I'm going to learn a lot of things from you even in next 30 to 40 minutes, so this is what I have seen it. So that made me that I am the best in me if I observe others and I improve myself. So that could be the reason when you asked this question and said that I think I am influenced by me only because I always try to improve myself, um, every minute, every day, every moment. So maybe that could be the reason I said this.
Yeah. Do you know what? And that's really, really, as I said, powerful, because you're right about it. We have to start with ourselves and look at ourselves inward to then be able to be great outward, and then to be able to understand and be better for everyone else. When we're good with ourselves and when we're feeling inspired and motivated, and us ourselves are self-developed and growing.
That's true. That's true. Otherwise, many people are there whom I am influenced, but let's keep it aside.
Yeah, because I know you and I can talk on for a long, long time on
Yeah.
various topics. So let's dive
Yeah.
straight into the first part. It's about the identity root causes. So how would you define stress in youth, and how can your how can youth identify the root cause of their stress? It's a bit of a mouthful.
The most important point here is you started the question, which is basic question. Most of the time, regardless they're youth or adults, we don't know the root cause of our stress. We unknowingly we go into stress mode, and we try to solve that stress, which even we don't work out that what has caused this problem.
Mm.
So when I go to any lectures or any workshops in colleges and schools where I see youth, so this is one of the common questions they ask me, that we are in stress, but we don't know what is the reason of our stress. So then I ask few questions, which I'm going to explain here also. The most important question which I ask them is that, are you stressed because of your academic or your social life at home, or any external factors? So there are few factors which they need to work out. For example, some students, they are not good in studies, so their stress is always academic. If they have some class test or any
Mm.
exams are coming, or if they have any pressure from their even peers that they are good in studies, so that could be one reason. Youth has to work out whether the stress has come from their academic, their studies, exams. This is one way. Another, and to be honest, one thing which I would mention it, which I have observed it, our school education system is not stress free. They always, the system itself is giving stress to the students because they are not free to study. So there is a pressure from the teachers, from the school, from the curriculum. Yes, you have to finish this chapter, you have to finish this
Yeah, a lot
topic,
of
and
back.
tests are there, and then exam is there, and then grading and the competition among them. So this is one of the areas. So some countries like Japan and Finland and other countries, they are working on improving their education system. So this is one area youth has to work out. Is it academic education? Is
Yeah, can I just also add to that?
Yeah.
It identifying the root cause is so fundamental. However, also it's about the youth actually understanding what the word stress is, and that's another element because all of a sudden everything is stressful. But often it's not stress. It might be nerves, or it might be just a little bit of anxiety, and those things are slightly different on the scale of stress.
Yeah, that's true. You know how I define it? There is one pressure and one is the stress. Pressure is always external, which is coming to us, exam pressure, study pressure, or any other,
Mm,
and our 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 physique, our mental state, or our mindset, how we can handle that pressure is defining our stress. So if we are good in handling the pressure, there is no stress. For example, I have worked throughout in my life in the IT operations and project management.
mm,
So there is always stress or pressure. Basically, it's the pressure coming from the our corporates, our employees, and the users. But if I'm not good in handling that pressure, I will always in stress. So similarly, is youth also. Anxiety is a very panic situation. But if it is not taken care, it goes into a serious situation.
yeah,
So if they have a pressure which is external, exam pressure, studies pressure, social values pressure, or whatever, if they are not good in their pressure management, so they go into stress mode. So another area, family conflicts or any social dynamics within their family, if there is
absolutely.
some conflicts are there among siblings or through maybe by parents or in family members, somewhere. This is some area. So the best thing we are going to talk about, maybe I'll answer it later. There is a way how to handle such pressure and convert into a good stress. There are bad stress and good stress, which is we always talk about. So youth has to convert that pressure into a good stress rather than a negative or bad stress. So this
Yeah,
is
something
what
that
we will,
works for them.
yeah, during our discussion, I'll talk about that also. So this is how the root cause they have to identify. I'll just summarize it again. Is it academic pressure, social pressure, or any education system, family conflicts, or any external anything? Sometimes the competition among the peers also is a pressure or stress which they feel. So let them identify this one.
Okay, excellent. And so, just very sort of give us an insight as to how you go about, um, three main areas that you would help youth identify the root cause of their stress. So, what would that look like?
Look, basically, for example, if they have study or exam pressure, so they will be always feeling incompetent, or they will feel that they
Mm,
have not done the enough preparation, and they will always be feeling that they are into a panic mode near the exam. Basically, they start revising their topics and chapters, but they don't remember it.
yeah.
So there is another program which normally I talk about and link with this, that how to do a smart studies to cope up with your studies pressure and stress. So this is
Mm,
one area, uh, and another another common area which I would emphasize here is the family conflicts from the parents, from the sibling side. So sometimes if they find out this, that there is a stress coming from there, so they want to stay away from a home. So this is one area which they feel, yes, there is something wrong in their atmosphere at home. So they want to stay at school most of the time or with their friends. So this is the area they how they can identify, yes, if the stress or the pressure is coming from home. So there are other areas also. For example, if they have some another example I would is coming in my mind is if they have inferiority complex. Sometimes
Yeah.
youth, they feel low graded than compared to others. So they go into a silent mode. They will not talk about in public or in their friends gathering. So this is area where they can find out also, yes, this is how I have to identify the root cause in this area, because these are the symptoms I'm finding in me.
Yeah. And I think all of these are really important to all our listeners out there, those who are parents or carers, to just stop for a moment and pause and look at your children or the youth that you're working with, to look for the signs and see the
Yes,
changes. Because sometimes, we get so involved in our own lives, and then, the life of that child just going on, we're just plugging along. We can miss those fundamental signals.
that's true. And you highlight a very important point, that the parents' role in this area is. I'll just give an example. In one of my lecture in workshop which I was giving to parents, one of the mother of one of the youth, she asked me that I don't have bonding with my teenage daughter. Instead, she has more close association and bonding with her classmates, with her peers. So here the parents' role come here. How close they are with their children, and they have bonding. So if child goes into that mode, do they share their problems, their challenges with parents? Or if parent, like you mentioned, if parent sees some kind of symptoms, if their child goes into a quiet mode suddenly, or in aggressive mode, or in some different changes they find it in their behavior, so parents have to step up and then see, and they need to talk to their children. And if
Yeah.
they need some external, we'll talk about that also. If they need some external support or mentorship, they should approach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you've brought up a very good, valid point there, um, about parents recognizing and stepping back. And also, I think it's about, when the behaviors change. It's not that the the children have bad behavior as such. And we have to separate that. It's not the child that's bad, but it's the behavior that's not
That's true.
correct. And we I think as grown-ups, sometimes we're very quick to label, go, oh, they're just being a rebel, or they're being naughty. And I think we have to be very careful, as as NLP practitioners. The language is so important.
That's true. That's
Wouldn't you
true. You
agree?
rightly said.
Yeah. So this is going to take us on to the next bit I want to discuss, which is the health practices and self-care habits. Now, we're touching a little bit on it already, but really specifically, what are the healthy practices and self-care habits youth can adopt to help them, I suppose, overcome, I would say, manage the stress better?
Yes, this is one of the best way to manage the stress among everyone, regardless youth or children or even adults. Unfortunately, there is an era where we are living in a digital era, where we have screen time is so high, and parents are so comfortable in get rid of their stress, their pressure, and they hand over mobile phones to their children. Okay, let them handle. I remember, again, I'll give you one example. One day I was in medical clinic. I was waiting for the doctor, and next to me one mother was sitting, and parents, mother, father, both were sitting, and they had one maybe 5, 6 year old child, and the child was very naughty, running here and there, and disturbing others, and so the father and mother, what they found the easy, they immediately gave their mobile phone, opened some game, and gave to the child, and child kept quiet, and then they found, yes, they have found the solution. This is one of the area in our age, in my age. I remember we used to go daily to park or to outside for sports or games, and the exercises, running, walking, to burn our calories. So that was
Mm-hmm.
the area where we were. Unfortunately, in today, the healthy practices are very limited. Self care is also very very. People say, yes, we are taking of ourselves, but actually no, they are not.
Mm-hmm.
Youth is addicted, along with their parents, to the screen time. This is one of the areas. So the best ways to build the habits and the healthy practices is to get rid of first this screen time, or limit it, or reduce it as much as possible. Sports is one of the best. Daily they have to be engaged 30 minutes, 1 hour, in some sports, if they like football, if they like any other game, where they can sweat, basically, where they can run, where they can, I'm not talking about playing a ludo or playing a carom or at home inside. No, within that, no.
So a
They
movement
have to go out
activity.
external. Yeah, they have to expose under the sun. They have to expose themselves under the outer atmosphere, walking, running. That is the best. And self-care habit is, they have to develop their good sleep, sound and good sleep. Their bedtime and wake up time, uh, 7 to 9 hours, 8 hours ideally for the youth is the minimum best sound sleep they needed. So they need to develop. When I say sound sleep, that means without any disturbance. They have to
Mm,
continuously sleep 8 hours. It's not that 2 hours they sleep and then wake up and do something and then multiple naps. No, continuous sleep. So this is, and then self-discipline.
that's really
Self-discipline is that if they need to play games, so they have to play games daily. So this is a discipline. If they have to sleep daily, let's say at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they have to sleep. So this is the self-care habits, and practices which they need to develop it. And again, parents' role is always there. They have to, you know, support their children and their youth to develop these habits and practices. They have to give them such environment.
mm,
Sometimes, if they like some reading, they have to read books. Unfortunately, reading is very limited these days. I'm a tech savvy person. I like digital technologies, but I still believe the paper books are the best companion for youth. They have to read paper books. This is another good area where they can, develop a good habit and practice. And these 3 4 things, if they do, there's no rocket science here. It's very simple thing which mostly parents know, youth know, but we are aware of, but we don't practice, we don't do it. The only way is we need to practice and mean to do it. That's it.
yeah, it's interesting. Some of the things you bring up, and you talk about self-discipline. How would you say people have to go or can go about, not have to, but can go about really developing their self-discipline? Because I know times have changed, and sometimes we have to balance this up because when you have technology, it can be used in a useful way, especially if you have children who are on the spectrum. So, this is another element because there are some real positive aspects of having technology when you have children on the spectrum, or, it doesn't matter what age they are. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
You mean how to develop the self-discipline?
Yeah, so the self-discipline, the screen time, the amount they're using, because um, children who are on the spectrum actually find it easier to have more self-discipline, or are more focused, and then there can be more, what do we call it, family opportunities, because they've had that time for themselves. Because a lot of
The
parents as
best
well.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. The best thing for any youth, or even this is for adults as well. Normally, I follow that pattern since long, and I always teach others that they have to develop their daily timetable with to-do list. Okay, regardless they are professionals at home, housewives, children. So we are talking about youth, so we'll focus on youth now. So youth, they have to develop their timetable, and when I say timetable, they have to enter their time slots, when what time they have to wake up, what time they are going to school or colleges, what time they have to do study, what is their time for studies, and what is their time for games and sports. I'm not against any screen time or any social media or anything, but they have to limit it. They are if they have to use 30 minutes per day or 1 hour max, I would not recommend more than this. So they have to put some buffer time
Yeah.
after completing all their other tasks. In the
Mm.
buffer time, they have to do the social media activities if they want to do it. If they want to watch some video on YouTube, again, they have to practice to watch some productive videos related to their studies, related to sports, related to something where they can learn something. So, timetable and to do list is very important to develop a self discipline. Now, there is another area, there is another problem here. People say, our youth will say that, okay, we have developed this timetable, we have a to-do list, but how to follow that?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is always a tricky thing here also, because uh, we need to remember one thing, that we are ourselves. So like in the beginning we talked about that, you have to be influenced by yourself.
Yeah.
Don't follow somebody else, and then you can definitely learn from others. I'm talking to youth, basically, when I say youth. So youth has to take learnings and lesson learns from others, from their peers, from everyone. But
Yeah, it's
they have
growth.
to, it's a growth, definitely, but they have to be a person whom they can be influenced by themselves. So they are their role model. And to become a role model, when we see leaders, when we talk about big people in the world, we have to study their life. They were very focused what they wanted to do it. So
Mm.
this is one technique, when they can influence themselves, they can
Yeah.
motivate themselves. Youth, yes, I have to do it, I have to do it. This is the inner talk. So they have to talk themselves. Yes, this is the timetable, this is the to-do list I have developed, I have to follow. And then next day or end of the day, they have to see the progress of their timetable. Did they follow the all tasks, all to-do list today, or anything is missed out? So self-improvement is the area where they can develop a self-discipline. This is what I see the best way, because teachers can help you, mentors can help you, parents can help you to do a self-discipline. But until there is a voice from inner side, you will not be able to develop that self-discipline.
Fundamentally, it lies within you to be accountable, or take ownership for your own actions. Um, so
That's true.
when from your perspective, when the youth are putting all of these things into place, and they may have their to-do lists, hopefully that it's not the endless to-do list, but there are a few things they have to do, and suppose they don't complete that to-do list that they have for that day. Sometimes that can set young people back a lot in confidence, and then it can give them more stress. So what's your suggestion, or your advice, or your tips on this for the youth, how to manage it?
So because there was a voice break in between. So if I understood your question, you're saying if they miss out their to-do list, or if they are lacking in that their plan. So how they can come out, it should not be another stress or other pressure for them. This is what I understand. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So they don't get demotivated, but they can maintain that, because if they've
Exactly.
got 3 items on the list and they've only done 2, sometimes that can set them back, and that can put another level of stress. And they said, oh my God, I can't do tomorrow now because I haven't finished today's work. And oh my goodness.
Yeah. So for this, when they prepare a timetable and their daily plan, they have to be realistic, first of all. Should not put something which is not achievable in one day. So if there is some task, anything which is ongoing, they have to put a timeline for that. They have to finish it in 3 days, 4 days, or 1 week. Okay. This one technique which they can. So they have to be realistic. Secondly, I would say no one is perfect. I'm not
Yeah.
challenging them that they have to complete or accomplish 100% their task. I would say 80%, if they are able to complete in one day, they are on their targets. 80%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is one area. So they should put some threshold, 70, 80%, not below this, that minimum we need to achieve at any cost. Once you have realistic tasks within their plan, within the youth in their plan, then I'm sure they will not miss out. This is one. Second, if they miss out, they need to put a threshold that's 80%. They have to accomplish by some means. If they have to compromise their screen time or something else, they have to and complete the task. Again, it's they have to put pressure on them. Instead of somebody external pressure comes to them, they have to put that. It's kind of self, motivation again. Another area is. These are the two things which I see at the moment. There's another area. In case if they miss out something due to some reason, they have to switch that task to the next day. For example, this is easily can do it. I can see my task which I have worked out. I can see in my screen now. For last 3 days, I have prepared one task, and daily I'm not able to meet 100%. I see, okay, 80%. I remove those two tasks and put it next day.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I'm comfortable. Okay, yes, I have achieved. Another area is that students, and especially youth and students, they have to see what is important and what is urgent.
Yeah.
Okay, they have to define and they have to differentiate what is important and what is urgent.
That's
For
kind of
example,
like
most of
the
the
technique
time,
I use. Sorry, Imran. It's like
yeah,
the matrix technique that I use with a lot of businesses, and it works for
that's
young
true. That's
people
true.
too. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
carry on.
So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I appreciate your point. So when they are preparing their plan, they are putting their task or activities. They have to create another column. They can write this plan on a paper or on Excel file if they know the computers and they have access. They have to add one column and they say, is it important or urgent? Again, urgency depends on whether the impact of that urgency. For example, if there is a um, class test given by teacher, that means it is important and urgent as well. So if your urgent thing is important, then you put that in the high priority. Yeah, you have to complete this. Sometimes there are some tasks which is urgent but not important. You know, urgency is defined by youth only. So they say, urgent means I have to buy one dress today. It's urgent because I tomorrow is a party in the school. I have to buy that dress. Yes, it is urgent. You need to have a new dress, but it may not be important because you can wear some other dress, old dress also. It's not going to make
Yeah.
any difference. So if both are urgent and important, so based on this technique, they can also work out how they can work out in their daily plan. So timetable, to-do list, urgency, importance. These are the few techniques they can work out and follow it. Self-motivate, self-discipline will automatically come.
Fantastic. That's great. Yeah, no, really, really useful sort of information there. And what's it is a really interesting thing to look at what's urgent, what's important, and what young people categorize those at. And again, what I said earlier on, it comes back down to language, doesn't it? and how we hear it and how we see that in the long term.
That's true.
Yeah.
The impact of their, and the
Yeah,
result of that. What is the outcome of their task?
exactly. And because, they're constantly going to be getting new projects, new assignments, and new things to do. And it's also, I believe, it's about pacing yourself.
That's true.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to ask about, with all of this, because you have to do your timetabling, what's your thought on the period of how long they should be studying before they take a little bit of a brain break or an exercise break or whatever it might be? What's your thoughts around that? Because I've got my thoughts that you work in sort of 30-minute, depending on the age, of course, as well, but 30-40-minute blocks, and then take a 5-10-minute break, then go back. What's your thoughts?
Uh, I'm having a different, perception on this. So for me, yeah, there are some formulas. There are some, like you also mentioned it. It's take a break, 30 minutes study, and then take a break. Let me give you another idea about this. So the youth, they can themselves work out what is the best for them. So I want to keep it open for them.
Yeah.
If they, if let's say if they have a plan, a daily plan, so everything moves around their daily timetable plan. So what they have to do is, let's say if they have identified they have 4 hours after the school or college time, which they have to study 4 hours total. So that means their commitment is that they have to complete 4 hours. This is what they have mentioned in the table. Now, if they find that they can continuously study 4 hours, if they are willing to, or without compromising their quality of studies or learning, I would suggest let them continue. But if they feel, yes, it is exhausted and they get tired after 2 hours, let them take a break after 2 hours. But if they are getting tired after 1 hour, okay, fair enough. But it should not be consistent breaks, that every 10 minutes, oh, I'm exhausted, so I'm taking break. No, again,
Yeah,
study
which can
becomes
happen.
harmful. Yeah. So it should not be. So it depends on them. For example, some students, if sometimes, some days their mood is good, their momentum is good, let them
Yeah,
continue study 4 hours. It's
yeah,
not a hard and fast formula rule. Yes, if their momentum is built and 30 minutes, bell rings now, I have to close the book. No, continue it if your momentum is there. Don't stop. You know. So it
yeah.
depends on them. But maybe we can take your guidance as well. Minimum 30 minutes, they should continue studying, not less than
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I think it's also just about habit because, and again, it depends on the circumstances and it depends on the individual because we are all different and unique. However, for example, you have to maintain and do certain work. So it preps you for exams, it preps you for when you go for jobs and you have to do presentations that you have only 10 minutes or 30 minutes. You have to do it within that time. And unfortunately, that's the way some of the life circumstances come. But again, it's about having that ability to be able to then make that choice, the right choices.
That's true. I agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's an interesting topic. Like you said, there's no hard, fast rule about this is how it should be.
Yeah. But definitely, being human, we get tired, we get exhausted. So
Yeah, things
let them
happen
take
in
a break after 2 hours, 1 hour, 5 minutes break, 5-10 minutes maximum. But sometimes, if your rhythm is developed, momentum is built, continue it until you feel now it's over. Now I need to take a break. So your mind will talk to you. Yes, now it's time to take a break.
absolutely. Just don't use it as an excuse to not to do anything and go onto social media.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to
Um,
take break because I have to watch some video or go to Facebook or Instagram. No, that should not be the practice.
exactly. The fear of missing out, the FOMO. Right. What I wanted to look at now was a little bit about the gratitude and focus. I mean, we have touched based on this. So, do you think well, we haven't really touched base on this. Do you think our youth are not as focused or not focused nowadays as much as, say, people, the youth when we were young?
Yeah, yeah. Gratitude is normally I call life is art and science. So far we have talked about mostly the science. Let's talk about the art of life. So gratitude is the art of life. Okay, we are given so many blessings by Almighty, and then we have food, we have clothes, we have roof to shelter us, we have parents, siblings, friends, school, books, you, millions blessings one person has in this world, and youth is having seen a lot of blessings in their life. One of the stress management which I experienced on me personally, and which I experienced it and I learned it, and I normally tell others, particularly the youth, very often they have to talk about their blessings, what they have already. You know, there is an exercise which they have to do it. I would recommend, strongly recommend. And this exercise is not only for youth. I would recommend it for our audiences listening us, adults. They can follow this exercise, and definitely their stress will be reduced and taken care. The exercise is that let them buy one small paper diary, maybe half 2 inch, 3 inch size, from any stationery shop, a pen. Keep this diary and pen next to their pillow or on their bed at night. Before going to bed, before going to sleep, put a date and write down minimum one, two, or three, minimum one blessing which they have. Anything, for example, that any blessing which comes in their mind that particular time. For example, parents. For youth, parents is the blessing. There are many children, their parents are not in this world. So parents are blessings for them. Let them write a word parents, put a date, and go to sleep. Next day morning, they wake up. Before waking up, before taking coming out from the bed, they have to open their diary and read again. Date and parents. Parents are their blessing. Okay. Then they continue their daily school and other activities. If they can write three blessings per day, fair enough. But don't go for more than three. I would say one to three blessings. I purposely saying one to three blessings because it's easy to write and easy to remember. Let
Absolutely.
them
Yeah.
do this exercise daily with the date. You know,
Mm.
Believe me, if they write, youth particularly, if they write three blessings per day, 7 days, 21 blessings, you multiply in 1 month how many blessings, and 1 year, and then you count millions blessings. So they should be thankful to Almighty God. Yes, they are blessed with these blessings. So here is the gratitude comes. They have to say thanks to Almighty Allah, Almighty God. Yes, we are given to these things. Alhamdulillah. I mean, in Arabic, we call it Alhamdulillah. Thanks to
Yeah.
Allah. Thanks to God. You know. So this is the gratitude which they are lacking. Youth is lacking. They always see what is not with them. If their peer has iPhone, they will be feeling, yes, they are less blessed because their parents could not afford to give them the iPhone. No, think about what they have already given to you. Actually, God has given, but the parents are the media to send these blessings to youth. Through parents or through siblings or through your family member.
Yeah.
So
I think.
youth has to follow gratitude. This is one of the key, and this exercise which I have mentioned, if they follow it, believe me, I can challenge, I can bet, I can guarantee their all stress, all pressures will be reduced automatically. They don't need to think about anything.
And you know what? I think gratitude is really important. For me, it's about giving the gratitude in whoever you believe in out there, because there'll be many different people watching this. But whatever person or entity that is, but it gives you perspective. I think when you do gratitude and appreciation, it gives you that perspective of where you are, where things have come from, and whether it's your parents or it's your carers, or you have got it yourself and bought it yourself. It's about thinking about, wow, I'm grateful for having this in my hand, and thinking about how you got it and where it's come from.
That's That's true. That's true.
So
That's
that's
true.
that's really
And you
important.
rightly pointed out this. Sometimes youth, particularly, they have some blessings which are created by themselves. Also. For example, if they are good in studies and they have taken a good grade from that particular test or exam, that means they studied well, they appeared well in the exam, and they executed well during the exam day. So they should appreciate themselves. Yes, this is one of the blessings. Maybe some students could not complete that or could not complete that task. So this is another way of gratitude to yourself. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, completely agree. Um, right, Imran,
Perfect.
you know what? It's coming to that time. It's gone so quickly. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. As always, this has been insightful to hear your insights, have this conversation. However, before we wrap up, where first of all, where can people find more information about yourself and the amazing work you do?
The best way to reach out to me is the LinkedIn, and I'll share my LinkedIn profile URL link, and they can send me message on LinkedIn. That is the best way to reach out to me. Within a day or two maximum, I'm replying with particular questions if they are asking anything, or if they need to reach out to me for further discussion. So through message, LinkedIn, we can contact and then we can take it further. This is the best media to
Fantastic.
reach out to.
Excellent. Now, most importantly, any final thoughts or advice for our listeners to take away from today's topic? So, these kind of bonus points or closing comments that you have.
Yes, there are few things which I would, emphasize as a bonus. We already talked about. Um, the digital detox is important, so let's take this as a bonus point today, because I'm seeing this the area where everyone is struggling, regardless adult, youth, children, and students
Mm,
everywhere, professionals, housewives, husbands, wives, parents, everyone is struggling to so digital detox is very important. So I'm now focusing on youth now. Your future is you only, so nobody can define your future. So if youth uh, takes care of themselves and detox and stay away as much as possible from digital and social media, I'm again saying I'm not against that, but they should not be addicted to the digital media and the social media. They have to put a balance. So when they prepare a timetable, they have to mention, yes, maximum 1 hour they have to use only social media. If they are using more than 1 hour, that means there is something wrong. They can use social media for their help in the studies, for so take out
mhm.
that in that buffer time or any free time. And there is a way to control that also, how to control the screen time. Parents, there are a lot of softwares available on Google or on other, they can put controls on their mobile phone, on their children's mobile phone, and parents can manage that. This is another where applications are available on Android, on iPhone. This area where they can put enforced discipline. So self-discipline, if it is not working, someone has to put enforced discipline. So we have to have a balance there. So apps is one area where they can control it. But I would again recommend self-discipline is the best. If you are practicing it and master it, when youth becomes the master of their self-discipline, they don't worry about anything else. So social media is killing them. Their future is spoiled by social media, where unnecessarily reels and shorts they're watching. If they need to watch social media, it has to be productive related to their studies or future plans or anything which they can use it. Let's talk about artificial intelligence as well. This is another phenomena and another era. So it is also uh, it's an interesting subject for me. It came in my mind at the end of this discussion.
I know,
But
maybe that's
AI,
something else we could look at. But I think
yeah,
it does
we'll
come
talk
from
about
today's.
later. They can take the help from AI, but believe me, AI, if you depend on AI, it's going to rush your brain. So your brain thought process is spoiled by AI. In coming years we are going to see it, and I'm very concerned about that. There should be global practices, standards, rules and regulations, self-discipline, enforced discipline. A lot of
Yeah, I
factors
mean,
we need
there's
to involve.
again, I think it all, it comes down to balance as well, because I think with
Yes.
the, and this is a discussion for another time, but the use of technology and AI, it benefits so many people with learning disabilities. So again, it's a different ball game for them as it is for the norm, should we say, if there is the norm. But it would be an interesting topic to have a discussion on, but definitely one for next
Yeah.
time.
Let's keep this topic interesting topic. So the AI and youth. Let's topic this
Yeah,
name AI
we'll
and
look at
youth.
something for next time. But yes,
Yeah.
sadly we are going to have to close today. But do you know what,
Yeah.
Imran? It's been
Thank
such a
you.
fascinating discussion. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your insights on stress management in youth with us today. Now, for those listening, and if you're inspired to find out more and explore how Imran can help you make lasting transformations, then please do get in touch with him. That's Imran Fiaz. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to Let's Talk Clarity and share it with someone who would benefit from these wonderful and amazing insights, and share your thoughts as well. What's working for you, what isn't working for you. And by sharing, we help each other grow. Right. Next time on my next episode, which is going to actually follow very nicely on from today, is about screen time overuse, navigating the battles parents face. So it's a real kind of connection. So there'll be a little bit more on that, but stay tuned for more open conversations that are honest for better mental well-being. Clarity, courage, and conversation that matters, one talk at a time. And remember, clarity creates confidence. So see you next time.